What are you enduring right now that you don't like? What relationships are you enduring that you just want out of? Is there a situation that you've told yourself, I don't like this, I want out of it? Are there people around you that you don't want to have around you anymore, but you've told yourself, I have to tough it out. I have to endure this. I have to survive it, whatever it is. Ask yourself those questions and keep asking as we go through today's episode. Here's the deal. Religion programs you to endure things that you don't like. Religion has programmed you to suffer through and endure things that you would rather not have a part of your life. You've left religion though, and yet you still operate with the identity that tells you to just survive it, just endure it. That's because you still need to detangle yourself. You still need to detangle your nervous system from that religiosity that says that you have to endure something and stay in something that you know that you've outgrown, that you know that you don't like. Let's keep going. I'm going to give you some examples of what I've seen here. And it doesn't matter the age. These are Black women that I've seen because that is my audience. And 9 times out of 10, you are a Black woman that's watching me as a Black woman show you how to detangle yourself for good from religious programming. So here's the first example that I want to give you. There seems to be an uptick of Black women in church. These Black women are religious leaders. They are preachers. They are ministers, first ladies of churches, okay? There's an uptick of these videos that are floating around of these Black women speaking about remaining in marriages. Yet they knew they were being devalued by their husbands, okay? Their husbands were devaluing them by going out, sleeping with other women, not just one time, but over and over and over again. And based on what these women are saying as they share their story, their husbands weren't even being sneaky about it. The women continued to sit in these relationships, in these marriages. They continued to suffer. They continued to feel sad, be sad, cry, feel unappreciated, feel disrespected. But they stayed because they said they had an obligation, a quote, obligation to God to keep their marriage together. Notice in that example, the man, the husband, didn't share the same obligation to God to keep their marriage together. The woman felt she carried the obligation. Another example I want to give to you, and this one's not about marriage or any relationships, but this is an example of a young Black woman that I saw who recorded what seemed to be, it almost looked like a meeting, but turns out it was actually a job interview. She was interviewing for a job. She was the candidate, yet the interviewer off top was not a good communicator. The interviewer was rude. She kept cutting this young woman off as the young woman tried to explain herself. And throughout this entire interview that this candidate recorded, she was asked, "Why didn't you just hang up?" She was asked by her audience, "Why did you continue to allow this woman to disrespect you? Why didn't you just hang up? Why didn't you end the conversation? Why didn't you end the interview yourself?" And the young woman said, "Well, because I am a Christian and I didn't want to be rude like her." Again, this is another example of religious programming telling you that you have an obligation to endure. You see how this shows up in every single part of our lives? This is why I'm bringing these various examples to you that don't seem like they have anything to do with the other, but there is a common theme here. You feeling like you have to endure something where you are being disrespected and devalued. That is what religion programs you to do and to be. Now, there's a flip side to this. This type of programming will not only keep you in situations that you don't have to be in, nor are you obligated to be in and endure. That identity will also cause you to be the culprit. That identity will also cause you to be the one to do the disrespecting. It will cause you to be the one to invoke sadness in another person, to cause frustration and confusion in another person. Again, it will cause you to be the culprit. This has also caused a distrust among Black women, which I'll touch on in another video because that's probably a different entire series in itself. But I want to read to you something. Again, I am reading from Mama Zagbe's book called Mami Wata, The Ancient African Goddesses and Gods Unveiled, Volume 2. All right. And I'm going to read to you something here, page 737. It's a little passage. And while I'm reading this intentionally on purpose because this goes back to everything that we're talking about is identity. And you remembering and reconnecting with who you are as the original woman who was not designed to suffer in anything. You were not designed to just sit in something because you have an obligation to sit in it, even when it's not serving you, even when you don't like it, even when you know you're being devalued. You do not have an obligation to suffering gene. That is not a thing. So let me read this. I am she that is the natural mother of all things, mistress and governess of all elements, the initial progeny of worlds, chief of powers divine, queen of heaven, the principal of the gods celestial, the light of the goddesses, at my will, the planets of the air, the wholesome winds of the seas, and the silences of hell be disposed. My name, my divinity is adored throughout all the worlds in diverse manners. You have a connection to that identity. Does that sound like a woman who remains in something that is not serving her, that is devaluing her? Does that sound like a woman who would sit and endure that? Does that sound like a woman who walks around with the consciousness that they have to just accept what they don't like? I don't think so. I don't think. You know what? I could be wrong. I could be wrong about all this. You may think that this book is bullshit. You may think what I'm saying is bullshit. I could be all wrong. But I don't think that this sounds like a woman who would sit in something and endure and suffer through being disrespected and devalued. I don't know. No, I do know. No, that is not who you are. What I just read, you hold that identity in your blood because you are connected to our ancient Black mothers who embodied what I just read. That energy is still available to you, again, because it is in your ancestral blood. So here's what I want to offer you. I want you to look at your life right now. Right now. What are you enduring that you don't like? Is it a business, a job, a relationship? That could be a friendship. It could be a marriage, a significant other, a relationship. Really, that could be a job and a business too. Your house, where you live, your car, your city, your country, your clothes, your hair, your conversations, money. Is there anything? What is it in your life right now? Are you enduring something that you don't like? And let me go back to the money part. When I say money, are you enduring a money situation that you don't like because you told yourself, well, I guess I just have to endure this? No. If you hold, let me read this again. If you hold the power in your blood where you are the governess of all elements, where you have a connection as the initial progeny of worlds, chief of powers divine, the principle of God celestial, the light of the goddesses, at my will the planets of the air, the wholesome winds of the seas, and the silences of hell be disposed. Does that sound like you have to endure something you don't like, a situation you don't like? Does that sound like you are the change? You are the resolution? Doesn't that sound like you carry energy within your being to begin to voice what you desire? And you begin to watch the elements move in your favor, where you begin to watch your external environment move in your favor? That is your identity. That is your identity. So I want you to consider that. It may be tough to ask yourself that question. What is going on in my life right now that I don't like? Takes facing it head on. It takes facing that question head on. And you don't have to announce and let everybody know that you're asking yourself that question. That is an exercise that I invite you to do, especially around this time when it's a full moon, where we are in the energy of the full moon. The energy of the full moon has a way of exposing things. All right. Get yourself in that energy. Just embrace it. And whatever comes up, let it be that. Let it be that. All right. So I want to remind you in closing that you have access when you go to unleashedalchemy.com. You can get immediate access to a complimentary 5-part mini video series called From Religion to Alchemy. It's going to be a good start for you to begin to really feel spiritual liberation after you've left religion. All right. You've left religion already. Okay. And so that complimentary video series is going to elevate you even more and more. Also, I'm putting this out there now. I may be opening up a membership. Okay. Inside the membership, we'll be doing live sessions, live workshops that will be like this, but we'll be going into more in-depth things. Okay. That I just may not be able to say on these public platforms. Okay. And so eventually we're going to do face-to-face, but I'm going to start with this membership online. So if you are interested in that, let me know in the comments. Send me an email, unleashedalchemy.com. I think what I'm going to do is start a waiting list on that so that you can be the first to know when the membership opens. All right. Also in the membership, we're going to be doing live rituals. I'm going to be doing energetic readings. Okay. So we're also in the membership, I'm going to be talking about and reading from Mama Zogbe's books about Mami Wata and our ancient Black mothers, because we have a direct lineage to this. I've said this before, and then I'll end. Our ancient Black mothers carried ecclesiastical, economic, and political, societal power and authority. Her voice was sought after before any decision was made in society by everybody. Everybody, all the civilizations came to her because they knew that she is the oracle, that she carried ancient wisdom. So part of what I came into this life to do is to liberate us and to get us back to that identity, to quantum leap forward. All right. So going forward, don't forget unleashedalchemy.com. If you're interested in being on the waiting list for that membership to open, I'm going to open it up here pretty soon. Okay. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you're interested in. Also, I know I said I was almost done, but also I want to hear from you, what your biggest challenge has been in navigating your life outside of religion. Let me know in the comments. You can also send me an email, unleashedalchemy@gmail.com. All right. Until next time, be sovereign.